There is a player on the Chicago Bears that is pretty much on the trade block. And let's talk about who that player is, what is going on, y'all. Faiz Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, it's Matt here to talk about the Chicago Bears. So if you're a Bears fan, guys, please do hit that subscribe button down below. And make sure to hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I drop a new video. Guys, we are on the road to 30K subs. Would really help me out if you guys help me get there by subscribing to the channel, by liking the video, by commenting down below. All those things help me out a lot as I put out this daily content for you guys. Real quick, I want to give a shout out as well to the sponsor of today's video, ProfitX. ProfitX is America's #1 sports prediction market where users play against each other instead of the books. And guys, because of that, you will almost always get the best price on any total spreads, money lines, and player props playing on the site. And right now, if you use my promo code FST, you can claim up to $200 in free profit cash on your first 30 days playing on the site. Guys, win real money predicting sports. Sign up down below, links in the description. Terms and conditions apply. All right, so Brad Biggs, reporter for the Bears for the Chicago Tribune, in his Q&A column had some interesting answers to some questions that he was asked. So one of the questions was about the running game. Has it turned a corner? What's the trade deadline plan? Questions in regards to that. And look, let me just summarize the first part of it, and then I'll get into the meat of what I want to talk about. Brad Biggs was basically saying that, hey, you know, what he's been kind of alluding to, the Bears are not one player away. They're not going to trade valuable draft assets to get a guy in here to compete for a year or two, right? So, like, don't expect, you know, huge names acquired at the trade deadline. That's basically what Biggs was saying. And then he basically got to this part of the article that I want to read for you guys. He said, also, don't completely discount the idea that the Bears could trade a player. If a team has a need for an experienced offensive tackle, maybe Braxton Jones could be available. That would leave second-round pick Ozzie Trapilo as the swing tackle. Jones would be a rental because he's in a contract year, so the return would be small. But in a world where everybody wants to talk about potential moves, there's another idea to file away. Okay, so interesting. So I just brought up in my recent video about Braxton Jones getting traded for a edge rusher in Tyree Wilson. That was proposed by ESPN's Bill Barnwell. Okay, so Brad Biggs is basically confirming this in a way where he's saying that, hey, don't expect the big name moves to take place at the trade deadline, but if the Bears do trade a player, it could be Braxton Jones. And I think this, like I said, makes all the sense in the world. You have Ozzie Trapilo as your backup swing tackle. Braxton Jones is not going to be on this team a year from now. You can try to go out and get something for Braxton Jones. I believe Theo Benedict has taken his job. He literally has taken his job, but I'm saying he's going to keep that job as the starting left tackle. And then, like Biggs mentioned, you got Ozzie, you know, who can be the swing tackle on either side of the line. And Braxton's the odd man out. So it's like, do you keep him there for depth purposes, which is viable? Obviously, you want to be able to have depth purposes on the offensive line in case of an injury, knock on wood. Or do you flip him for a player at a position of need because he's the odd man out? And I think it does make sense. And going back to the proposal by ESPN, I do think you want to go after an edge rusher. Now, obviously, you're talking about a backup offensive tackle. You're not going to go out and get a Max Crosby for that. But you could certainly get a guy with a high upside, a player that's, you know, kind of stashed away, not being utilized by teams. And, you know, a change of scenery could be good for them. Or you could look at other positions as well. But I do think Braxton Jones is like that one trade chip that we do have that we can kind of dangle with teams and see what we could get for him. Because think about this, guys. Offensive line, like, you can never have enough good offensive linemen. And so when guys like that become available, teams are always going to want that. That's a premium position. Now, I say that, right, when we're looking to trade on offensive linemen, but it's been so long since we've been in a position where we could even entertain that thought, right? The fact that we have a guy that we just drafted, right, Ozzie Trapilo, that could step in, and then you have a guy in Theo that, you know, an undrafted guy who's emerged, it doesn't happen a lot. So, again, for a guy that's not going to be here, if Braxton was going to be here long-term, that's different, but I don't believe the Bears are going to bring him back. You could look to trade and flip him for somebody. Again, who that is really the question. But to me, the straight-up need is the edge. Obviously, you need a pass rusher for sure. And so that is what you would look to do. And so I definitely think that this is a possibility at the trade deadline. Keep this in mind, guys, okay? Biggs is saying this about, how don't expect any big moves. And while I do agree with him overall, big picture-wise, Ryan Poles, what has he shown you? He has shown you that he is willing to make these moves at the deadline. Now, some have not worked out. Remember the Chase Claypool trade? That one obviously was a miss. He did acquire Montez Sweat at the trade deadline. That one looked great at the time, but Sweat has not lived up to the hype, to the contract that we gave him. Hopefully that changes, but it's not like Ryan Poles doesn't make trade deadline moves. He does, and he has done it when the Bears are not in win now mode, right? He has done it when we have been a bad football team. So I have said literally, hey, we're not a player away, but Ryan Poles himself has done these moves when they're not a player away. So I certainly think that there is a chance for a trade deadline move here. It doesn't have to be this big move to be impactful. You could trade a guy like Braxton Jones, bring in a pass rusher that could be impactful for you, and kind of go that way. And again, there's other positions of need as well, but I'm focusing on edge here because that is really the position that I feel like is the biggest weakness at this point right now with this team. So a lot to just, digest there. But basically, Braxton is the guy that is on the trade block. And if a team comes up with a offer that Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles think is viable enough, I do think he gets moved. I really do. So let me know what you guys think about that. Do you agree that we should deal Braxton Jones? Sound off in the comments down below. I want to hear from you guys. I think it's a real possibility. Let's see what happens. Trade deadline coming up. Let's lock in and see what happens. So let me know what you guys think about that. As always, thanks for watching.